Hey everybody, welcome back to Laptop Seniors. Today we're talking about car rentals. I'm going to take you through renting a car in Panama, specifically Panama City, although I'll touch on the other cities too. But we're going to start with Panama City. Now, one of the things that renting a car in Panama has that other countries don't have, they're not real good at doing the credit card waiver. In other words, where your credit card handles the collision insurance, the CDW. Most places you can go in and you can tick off that you don't want that, and your credit card will kick in, and if you had an accident, they'll handle it. It doesn't work that way in Panama. For the most part, most of the companies won't do it. My understanding is from reading a couple of posts online, I don't know 100% for sure of this, but Hertz will take your credit card, but even that becomes a problem, and I'll tell you why. So let me just keep going on the insurance, because that's the big thing that's different. Other than that, it's like renting a car anywhere else. You have to beware of the usual things, the nicks on the car and all that other stuff. But for the insurance, here's the thing. So I had seen and read, a ton of different times, and even when we were down in Panama before, like 6 months earlier, I rented a car for 2 days at the same place that I will tell you. But the guy was sort of explaining it, and it was like, this is going to be a problem. But I didn't know the answer, so I wasn't sure, and we only rented it for 2 days. We wanted to go to Coronado and Valle de Anton, and so we went up there for a couple days. And it was cool, and I don't know, I think the whole charge was $70 or something like that for the 2 days. It wasn't that big of a deal. But when I got back home, I thought, let me find out about this. Are you covered or not? And that's the big question. Will your credit card company's insurance cover you in Panama? I have Amex. I have an Amex Platinum card, which is, their top of the line card, and they cover you for pretty much anything, anywhere in the world, and they're really good. So I called Amex and just to make sure, and hey, here's the thing, going to Panama, I'm going to rent a car for a month. I just want to make sure that, your car insurance, if I decline the collision coverage, isn't going to cover. Let me put you with the insurance people, sir. Okay, fine. I get on, long story short, because they couldn't answer the question. Well, we can't find any answer to that for Panama. Oh, well, let me put you through to our insurance company, because we don't actually insure the cars. We have an insurance company that does it for us. Oh, and that's pretty much the way all credit card companies work. Somebody else, an insurance company, is insuring the cars. They're not. So bear that in mind. So I get on the phone with the insurance company itself, and oh no, we certainly insure. We insure the cars. We insure CDW through Amex. Yeah, no problem. I said, can you check on Panama specifically? I know you do it for other places because I've used it and it's been fine. Although I didn't have an accident, so I actually don't know if it was fine. But I'm assuming it was. So the person tries to check, can't get an answer, cannot get a definitive answer. Well, I think it's going to be fine, sir. Do you know 100% on the money that it's going to be fine? No, I can't say that because I can't find it. Okay, well, can you get back to me? Yes, I will. What's your number? I give them my number. Nobody ever called back. Logically, I didn't expect anybody to call back because I'm not their customer. Amex is, not me. So now all of a sudden red flags are, all over the field, like, oh man, I probably don't have insurance on the car for collision. If I turn it down, I may have a problem. It's just a bad scene, and you don't really want to get into it. So you have to assume going in that the only insurance you're going to have on the car is the Panamanian liability insurance, which is for 20 grand or 22 grand. It's a really low number. It doesn't cost much. It comes usually included with the car, or it's just a small minor amount that's added on. And so you're insured for the liability, so you can take a car and drive it out of the lot and rent it, but you don't have any collision. You don't have any fire and theft. You don't have anything on it. Somebody steals the car, you're liable. Let me tell you from there, now that you're armed with that, I would say, unless you can absolutely find out from your credit card company's insurance company, and I would get a letter and, it's some specific something to cover you, that they will cover you in Panama, because it's going to be rare. I would definitely get the collision insurance. Sucks that it does, because it's expensive. It's really expensive there. Let me give you an example. So we were going to be driving across the country from Panama City to Boquete and back, and and a million other places, Volcan, Coronado, Playa Blanca, and all those things that we've been doing videos on. Okay. In the midst of doing that, we would be, and I know it from the first trip, you start driving through roads with lots of potholes, big hole ruts, and you will drive right off the road because the road will be paved and all of a sudden it won't be paved. And that's just the way it is. When you start going off the main highways, for a lot of different places, you will start to go on dirt roads, and then they're gravel, and then there's the car is rocking back and forth because you're into big ruts. And you don't want a real small little car that's close to the ground. You don't want it bottoming out because you could rip up the transmission or whatever. Anyway, we wanted an SUV, and we ended up getting a RAV because I wanted to try a RAV. We were thinking about buying a RAV and see how that drove. A lot of people drive the smaller pickup trucks, not the full-size pickup trucks, but the smaller ones there, the Hilux for Toyota, which is like a Tacoma, Ford Ranger. There's other brands. There's also like Chevy Colorados, that type of thing, that size truck. So we were looking at that, and they're both like roughly $800. I think they were like $830, and that's what it would be for a month. But then comes the insurance, and the insurance takes that $800 up to $1,400, $1,391 to be exact. And that's the way it would be at every single national brand rental car company that we went to in Panama City. And they're all in the same area, Via España, right by the subway. El Carmen subway station is just about a block going one way or another block going in a different direction. They're all there. There's Hertz, Avis, Budget, Thrifty, Alamo, a couple other local brands that I didn't know what they were, who were a tiny bit cheaper, but I didn't want to take the chance because I didn't know the company would be a problem. So what I went to Budget, and I'll show you what it looks like, show you on the street walking up to it, so you'll recognize it when you're there if you want to go there. Budget was charging $1,391 for a month. All the other places that we went to, couldn't find one under $2,200. 22, okay, $1,400 to $2,200. That was the jump. Other ones were 24. One was 28, 28, 24, 22, $1,400. Whew. Big change there. That's a lot of drop in money. So we went with the Budget, and we had used it before, as I mentioned, for a couple days, and they were super friendly. They spoke English. Usually there'll be like 2 or 3 people behind the counter. One person will be able to speak great English. So they understand what you're trying to do, and they were great. And the person doing the car, going around it and writing down any nicks, scratches, stuff, he was friendly, he was great, he was nice. Going and coming, even on the drop off, totally good. No problem both times, effortless. So I just want to give you the idea of these are the costs that you're going to run into, and the only way around those big costs, because the rental cars are roughly sort of the same. It's the insurance where the difference tends to be, big time. So if you want to gamble without insurance, or you can find out that your credit card will give you insurance, go for it, sign that waiver for CDW. If not, this is kind of what you're going to be paying. Now, a few things that go along with all this. So, when I gave them my Amex, they put a $2,000 hold on the Amex card, ahead of time, just in case there was an accident or I wrecked the car or something. I kept looking while we were driving during that month, and I never saw it on my Amex card. It never appeared anywhere. So I don't know if it's something where you just don't see until it kicks in, but it never really affected how much money I could charge on the card. Like $2,000 is already used up. It never seemed to appear there, but I know that they did it. Other things to consider: if you're renting a car, you don't really want to do it at Panama City Airport, because they are notorious for ripping you off and overcharging you for things. One of the other things is, at the airport, you're going to need a transponder, and basically to get into Panama City. It's for tolls, and there's only one toll in all of Panama. That's what the rental car company, the Budget one, told me, because I was asking them about it. I say, hey, this toll transponder thing, do I need one for when we drive to Boquete? He goes, no, the only place you need it is on the causeway coming into Panama City from the airport. because basically picture it as a really long bridge over water. The rental car guy said that you actually don't need the transponder. You can actually pay at one of the booths, although I never saw that going through. You know, we went through with Uber a bunch of times and I never saw that booth with anybody in it, but evidently, seemingly you can do it. But the point with the transponder is, let's say you're renting a car for 30 days, you're paying for that transponder for 30 days, but you will only use it twice, going and coming from the airport. That's it. So, you know, kind of crazy to get that. And then the other things sort of apply for any rental car, that, you know, you don't want to take that option. All rental cars everywhere give you that, you know, option where you can pay for the full tank of gas and bring it back any way you want. The only way you're going to break even on that is you have to run out of gas just as you pull up, you know, where the car is like bucking and the engine's failing because there's no more gas, just as you make the rental car company. Because anything that's left in the tank, you paid for and somebody else is going to get, that somebody being the rental car company. Let's say you pay for that full tank and you come back on a half a tank of gas. Well, that half a tank of gas, and maybe it's worth, you know, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks. You know, that's money wasted. So you don't want to be doing that. The other thing with a rental car, and for sure, you know, we definitely did this in Panama at the budget. When the guy came out with, and I do this everywhere, when the guy comes out with that, you know, the collision, nicks, scratches, you know, cracks in the windshield, whatever type thing, that this is the way the car's condition is at the moment. We go around the car voraciously, like fanatically, writing down every little nick, cranny, scratch thing, anything that looks like it doesn't look like a brand new car, you know, right down to the bottom of the car, even the tires and the wheel wells, the whole thing. We write down everything, so much so that sometimes that paper will end up looking like you can't even make out the car, you know, that's printed there underneath because of all the ink on it, which is great because they will approve it. And when you show up, they won't, you could probably come back with, you know, big scratches on the car and they can't tell if it was there or not. They would have no idea. At the exact same time that somebody is writing that stuff going around, I mean, you'd need two people for this, but usually when I'm doing that, my wife is going around with the phone, videotaping very slowly all around the car, the condition of the car at that moment. Go all the way around the car, then kind of, without turning it off, still running, you know, show the rental car company that we're after the office or we're in the pickup zone, so that it's crystal clear that this video was made on the day you are picking up the car and you have not driven it yet. You want that crystal clear on the video. Even though I believe legally that paper that you're marking up, that's the actual legal thing. That's where the arguments can win or lose on that. So you really want to just totally devastate that paper if you need to. So to sum up, you know, and again, I'm going to recommend this place to go, or at least check it out. And that was the budget on Via España. There's budget car rental. They had the best prices, you know, for everything combined. You make sure you at least go there to compare against the other places, and I think it'll end up being your cheapest one. One last thing, if I haven't mentioned it already, you can also rent cars in Coronado and also Boquete from local, you know, firms that are usually run by, you know, expats in those two places, and they tend to be cheaper. So like instead of that $1,400 for that RAV4, they're usually kind of coming in at somewhere around $1,000 or $1,100. And for the Coronado one, they said that they would actually drive a van to Panama City and pick you up, and then take you to Coronado to pick up the car. So the, you know, the pickup and the drop off is in Coronado, and then they would van you back and forth to Panama City. The problem was that they don't have that many cars, and man, they fill up and the cars are taken like quickly. Like we were probably 2 months out and couldn't get a car. They were all gone. You have to really get a car well in advance. Renting a car in Panama, it's costly and it's not pleasurable, that's for sure. But these are the big things that stuck out to us. In addition to renting a car anywhere, you know, the usual things apply here too. So anyway, hope you liked it. If you liked this video, you know, hit the like button. That'd be great. I hope you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're growing really fast, and more subscribers always helps us grow even faster. And lastly, hit that notification bell. If you hit that bell, you'll get notified when we put up a new video, and that will be great. And, you know, and then you won't have to wait, or you won't have to wonder if there's a new one. You'll know immediately. Until that next video, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. See ya.
Come back and see us again soon.